Hi, this is Joe Convac with Inside Property Services. We're here to do a combustion safety test in this home. First step is to identify what type of equipment we've got. Here we've got two atmospherically vented water heaters and we have an induced draft furnace. So we will have to do a combination test at some point because all three appliances vent in combination out through the chimney flue. And we're going to start setting up here in just a moment. Hi, this is Joe with Inside Property Services and we're about to prep for our combustion safety test. So one of the first things we're going to do is drill holes to measure our draft pressures. We're generally going to go about 12 to 24 inches beyond dilution air. So right at these draft hoods we're going to go 12 to 24 inches and clean off the spot like a doctor giving a shot. There's one. Get this other one over here. And we'll get our furnace around the side. Get up here. And I'm going to change bits. So on this one, we need to also get our undiluted carbon monoxide right near the draft induced fan. And before we forget, we're going to make sure we leave our foil tape so we can seal up our holes when we're done. And now we can start setting up our hoses in order to read pressures. So we've got a hose for our draft pressure. First water heater we're going to test is the one furthest downstream, the one that's probably most likely to spill exhaust. And considering they're both the same size, I think we're going to start this. My name is Joe Convac with Inside Property Services and we're continuing on with our combustion safety test. So we've created our worst case pressure scenario with all the exhaust fans on, with the air handlers on, and with our negative doors open and our positive and neutral doors closed. Now we're going to proceed with testing these appliances for function under that worst case scenario. The first unit we're going to test is this naturally vented water heater. As we see, we've got three appliances here, two water heaters in the furnace, induced draft furnace. The depressurization limit for this configuration is -5, so we made a note of that. Now we've got our hoses set up here. We've got undiluted carbon monoxide being measured just below the draft hood. We're going to turn our pump on and get that ready. We're measuring draft pressure 12 to 24 inches beyond our draft hood. We're going to plug that in on an input tap over a manometer, and we're going to be monitoring this for our pressure. I'm going to hold this right here. And then we've got our smoke, CO, and we've got Henry taking care of time. So I'm going to fire this unit, and at 1 minute we're going to record our spillage. Fire. And we've got spillage. We can actually see we've got condensation occurring across the top here. And our exhaust spilling out here. We're going to monitor our CO, make sure that we don't exceed 35 parts per million ambient. We can see that initially firing, our water heater is generating about 39, 40 parts per million carbon dioxide. So not particularly high. We shouldn't see any issue once it dilutes itself. And at 1 minute, we're going to check for spillage once again. It's got 1 minute to achieve a draft. If it doesn't achieve a draft within that 1 minute, we can say that it's failed the spillage test under worst case conditions. We'll retest it under simpler, easier conditions. What's our time, Henry?
5 seconds.
Okay, so at 55 seconds, we're going to test here. And again, I'm seeing a positive pressure on my manometer. So I know that air is coming down this flue, and at a minute we still have spillage. So we're going to shut the unit down, and this unit's failed its worst case spillage.